Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're taking a look at how an ancient story, yeah, the Israelites crossing the Red Sea, you know that one, can offer some pretty surprising insights for entrepreneurs especially. But really, anyone facing a challenge, we're going to be focusing on this one article called Crossing Your Red Sea, Powerful Lessons for Entrepreneurs from Exodus.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like a crash course in turning obstacles into opportunity.
It's really incredible how a story from, thousands of years ago can still be so relevant today. I mean, there's this timeless quality
Mm.
to the challenges the Israelites faced. And you know what? They aren't actually that different from the ones that we all deal with today.
Okay, so let's set the scene here. You're leading this group of people, and you're literally stuck. I mean, literally, between a rock and a hard place. Pharaoh's army is closing in behind you, and you've got this massive sea blocking your path. Talk about a high-pressure situation.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and that's where the first lesson from this article comes in. Faith in the face of the improbable. It's easy for us to just say, have faith. But think about what that meant for Moses. I mean, he wasn't just, blindly optimistic. He actually had to cultivate this really deep belief, not just in himself, but in his people too,
Yeah.
and in their shared destiny.
Right. It's like what the article points out. Do not be afraid, stand firm. But it can't just be about positive thinking, can it? There's got to be more to it, some way to actually build that kind of faith.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Moses didn't just all of a sudden have this unshakable faith. It was something that he built over time. He spent years in the desert, honing his skills as a leader and connecting with his purpose. And even then, he still needed guidance and leaned on his relationship with something bigger than himself. It wasn't just about him. So he had to build a foundation for that faith.
So for entrepreneurs today, it's not enough to just have a great idea and just believe that it's going to work out.
Right.
You have to actually put it in the work to make that belief real.
Absolutely. It's about developing a clear vision, creating a solid plan, and maybe even more importantly, building a strong support system, surrounding yourself with people who get it, who believe in you, and who can offer guidance when things get tough.
So it's this balance of looking inward to cultivate that inner strength, but also looking outward to find wise counsel and the right people. But even with all of that, there's still that moment where you have to take that leap of faith.
Right. And that leads us to the next lesson in the article, having the courage to confront the unknown. Try to imagine those Israelites standing there on the shore, looking out at that sea that's been parted. It's a miracle, sure, but they still have to take that first step into the unknown. They have no guarantees about what's on the other side, but they move forward anyway.
I don't know about you, but for someone like me who really likes routine, that sounds terrifying. But I can definitely see how that applies to entrepreneurship. You're constantly pushing boundaries, trying new things, putting yourself out there. It's like a constant dance with uncertainty.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just admit you're scared and go for it anyway. It's not about never feeling fear. It's more about being afraid and doing it anyway.
This is making me think about all those times I've held back from an idea because I was so afraid of failing or what people would think. But looking back, I can see those were all missed opportunities.
And the article makes a really interesting point about how taking action like that, like confronting what you don't know, that's actually what can lead to transformation.
Yeah, the Israelites weren't just physically walking across the sea. They were also leaving behind a whole way of life. A life of slavery and hardship. And on the other side, there was this chance for them to build something totally new, something better.
It's a powerful metaphor for sure. And that's where the article's third lesson comes, in transformation through challenges. Think about it. We don't grow when things are easy. We grow when we're pushed outside of our comfort zones, when we're forced to adapt and learn and become more resilient.
So it's not just about getting past the obstacle. It's about who you become in the process. The challenges actually shape who you are.
Exactly. And in a way, the challenges we face, those Red Sea moments, they're not things we should be afraid of or avoid. They're actually opportunities for growth and transformation.
But here's something that I'm curious about. The Israelites didn't just wander around after crossing the sea. They were headed somewhere. They had a vision for their future, the Promised Land. So how important is that sense of purpose, having a destination in mind when you're facing these challenges?
That's a great question. And it's something that the article emphasizes too. Having a long-term vision is so important, especially when things get really tough. It's like your North Star, that guiding light that keeps you moving forward even when you can't see the path clearly.
So for entrepreneurs, that might be their ultimate goal for their business, the problem they want to solve, or the impact they want to make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be some big, huge thing. something that's going to change the world. It can be something personal, a vision for the life you want to create or the person you want to become.
But it has to be something that's going to keep you going when you hit those setbacks, when you start
hmm
to doubt yourself. It's like the fuel that keeps your engine running.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not enough to just have that vision and keep it to yourself. You have to keep coming back to it, reminding yourself why you're doing what you're doing,
Right.
why it matters.
It's like checking your compass,
Yeah.
making sure you're still headed in the right direction. But you know what else strikes me about this story? When the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, they didn't just keep moving. They stopped and they celebrated. They sang and danced. They expressed their gratitude for what they had accomplished. And it seems like they really understood that celebrating wins, even the small ones, is so important. I think that's something that's easy to forget. In our culture today, you know, we're always focused on the next goal, the next target. We forget to stop and appreciate how far we've already come.
Yeah, I think that's true. We often treat celebration like it's an afterthought, like something we'll do
Yeah.
once we finally made it. But the article's saying that we need to celebrate along the way. It's important to keep our momentum and stay motivated.
Right. It's like that feeling you get when you cross something off your to-do list. You feel a sense of accomplishment, like you're actually making progress. And it kind of gives you that boost
Yeah.
to keep going.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be some big party or a huge reward. Celebrating can be simple, like just acknowledging your progress, maybe sharing your success with a friend, or even just taking a minute to think about how much you've learned and grown.
It's about recognizing that you're not just defined by your struggles, but by your successes too. And those moments of celebration, no matter how small, can remind us that we're resilient and that we can overcome challenges.
You're like these little markers on your journey, showing you that you're on the right path and that you have what it takes to reach your destination.
So we've covered some really insightful lessons today, all from this story of crossing the Red Sea. Faith, courage, transformation, vision, and celebration. These are the key takeaways from the article. And it's amazing how relevant they are to our lives, whether we're entrepreneurs or just dealing with the everyday stuff.
It really shows you the power of these stories, how they can still give us guidance and inspiration. They remind us that those challenges we face, those Red Sea moments, are actually chances for us to grow,
Yeah.
to change, to become the best versions of ourselves.
And that's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just about learning new things. It's about finding those little bits of wisdom that we can actually use in our own lives, in our own Red Sea moments. So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with one final thought. Think about those challenges you're facing right now, those obstacles that seem impossible to overcome. What's one small step you can take today to put these lessons into practice? What can you do to cultivate faith, to act with courage, to embrace transformation, to clarify your vision, or to celebrate your wins? Remember, even the longest journey starts with a single step